Welcome to the Shine Network Radio Show, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our city and in our world. I'm your host, Orlana Darkes Jury, and thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you have an event or topic that you would like us to consider featuring on the Shine Network, contact us by visiting theshinenetwork.org. And you can watch this interview on the Shine Network Facebook page. Just remember, we spell shine with a Y. Picture it, a world without life-saving medicine or clean water or food to eat. A world with dwindling resources with no solutions. It's not that hard to picture, right? Because those very things are happening in many places in our world. And for many, it can feel like there's no answer to these problems. But that's not true because there's hope. It's called STEAM, and our kids are the key. And one of our local churches is leading the way with their own science, technology, engineering, and art and math school. To discuss, joining me today is Reverend Darryl Canady and his wife, Reverend Talita Canady, pastor and first lady at Rodman Street Missionary Baptist Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Reverend Canady and Reverend Canady's. Welcome to the Shine Network Radio Show.
Well, thank you so much for having us today, Alana.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
So how long have you two been serving at Rodman Street Missionary Baptist Church?
Well, we've been here 11 years. We came in the snow of the century back in February of 2010. I am a Florida native. My wife is a California native. When I saw that much snow, I said, Lord, did I hear you? Did I hear you correctly? I had never seen so much snow in my life.
Never in a million years would we have imagined we'd be in a cold place like Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm glad that we welcomed you properly.
Absolutely. I felt welcome after that.
Right.
I tell you what I did learn. I learned about boots, hats, coats, gloves, and stop trying to be cool. I learned.
Right. Well, I'm glad it didn't scare you away because you guys, since upon your arrival, you've hit the ground running. So we're glad that you came to Pittsburgh and that you remained here. So thank you for that. I'm glad the snow didn't scare you too much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So you've been serving for 11 years. And all of a sudden, the world was shut down with the pandemic. So how is the church faring? And what are some of the things that you have instituted during the pandemic to continue to keep your members engaged and attract non-members to the church?
Well, one of the things when we first were shut down, of course, no one knew the impact or how long. So I assumed that it was going to be for 2 weeks. Now, why did I make that assumption? I don't know.
How did you think weeks? I at least thought a couple months.
Well, I don't know. I wasn't reading the tea leaves. And I thought 2 weeks. But what I immediately knew that we had to try to keep the people together. I knew that on the outset that we had to try to communicate with the people to keep them together. So I had never done Facebook Live. I didn't even know I could be on YouTube. I thought that was something you had to pay for. I had never done anything live like that. Of course, we had a live streaming service on Sundays. People could see the service, but never really put a lot of emphasis on that because I was only really concerned about the people who came through the door. Mm-hmm. And when they shut us down, all of a sudden I had to learn how to get on live as we are doing even now and all the other things. Sometimes my picture didn't come up. They could only hear me. Sometimes I couldn't get the audio right. My daughter was home from college and she was saying, Daddy, you got to do this and you got to do that. So I learned, but my main thing was that I had to have constant contact with the people some kind of way to try to keep them connected to God and some kind of way to keep us connected together. One of the things that we started years ago, and I'm so thankful now, is called lay ministry. And Talita can talk about that.
Yes, we started a ministry under the umbrella of Shepherd's Care. And what I do as the minister of congregational care is I train lay ministers, lay persons to be lay ministers. And what that is we are trained to come and walk alongside of the members of our congregation to extend care, to be an extension of the pastor, because we realize that the pastor cannot do it alone. And so we train these lay people to reach out to their flock members at least once a month. And so we instituted this long before the pandemic. So when the pandemic came, people were already in place. They already had flocks that they were responsible for. And so this was a way for us to maintain contact with the members of our congregation and to know if there was a need in our congregation, if there was someone who needed food, if there was someone who needed shelter, if there was someone who was sick. We already had this in place in order to help us keep our hands on the members of our congregation.
That's awesome. Well, yes, that's one less thing you have to worry about is how to remain contacted. So that was already in place. So yes, that was an awesome idea. Reverend Darryl Canady. I just realized I can't just say Reverend Canady because you're both reverends. So Reverend Darryl Canady, you mentioned, you were focused on, the building, people coming to church. And you're not alone in that. A lot of churches, I'm in communications. So for years, I was always trying to persuade pastors, like, go online, go on Facebook. And they're like, nah, I have enough to deal with, just maintaining the building, make sure people coming to church. So do you feel like the pandemic has pushed churches online?
Absolutely. I mean, and virtual church is here to stay. Everybody's not coming back. Often I've talked to other pastors, there's not going to be going back to normal. There's going to be a new normal. And so it has forced me and other pastors, if we are going to survive, we are going to have a media platform. Virtual platform is going to be here to stay. And what we've learned is that people now are tuning in from across the world, tuning in to our various broadcasts. I grew up in Florida, and my family and when I graduated from high school and went to Morehouse, I never lived in Florida ever again. And so my family has never been around me. And now my mother and my brother and all people back home are able to interact with me in my ministry for the first time on a long-term basis. Certainly when I go home to preach or they come up to hear me, but now on a weekly basis, I see my mom out there. She learned how to get on Facebook. She learned how to do YouTube. This is really funny to me. My mom is almost 80, but now she's learned how to do these things and to see her son. My brother's also a pastor, so she's able to see both of her sons now in different cities. Also, childhood friends, people that I have not seen in 30, 40 years, teammates and classmates from college. All of those people now are able to get involved in my ministry up close now like never before. So I think that virtual church is here to stay. I think that if we don't make those adjustments, that we're going to become irrelevant. Sunday mornings, people now are saying, I'm watching this preacher at this time, that pastor at this time, that pastor at this time. So what I've tried to tell my congregation and the leaders there, that we have to upgrade to make sure that what we are producing then would be appealing to the eyes and the senses. So we've been working on those kind of things as well.
You mentioned your 80-year-old mom, now understanding how to navigate the internet streets. Reverend Talita, did you find with your congregational care, Was there a learning curve? Did some of your I forget what you called them, your
Lay ministers?
yes, your lay ministers, did they have to teach other congregants how to log on or how to create a Facebook account?
Oh, absolutely. Even with the training that I do with the lay ministers once a month, um, as we've been going through this, we have definitely had to help. I've had to help lay ministers, but then lay ministers have helped members of their flock to get online to attend classes that we have throughout the week. For example, we have a women's class that meets on Monday nights. And so we've had to help various members of that class to get online and to be able to navigate that whole Zoom experience. And so for them, at first, some of them were like, I'm not fooling with that online stuff. And but now some of it's amazing. Some of them have gotten used to it and they hop right on with no problem.
Awesome. So you guys, and I'm not sure, Reverend Darryl Canady, if you remember this, it was about 3 years ago. And I interviewed you on Whammo. You came to the station and we were talking about the church launching this STEAM program for young boys. And so I'm so excited that you are back with me today because you have a very exciting announcement to make about this program that started within the walls of the church. Tell us about it.
Yes, absolutely. We started back in, God gave me a vision in 2014, was September the 11th. So that's the ninth month, the 11th day. So it was a 911 call where God said, you got to save the boys. We were seeing how boys are being destroyed, not only here in Pittsburgh, but just virtually really around the world. And God said, you got to save the boys. I know what saved me. Ultimately, God did, but education also played a major role into who I am today. And so God said to me, save the boys. That particular night was a Thursday night. He wouldn't allow me to go to sleep. I stayed up all night long. God told me the name of the school and it's life. Life stands for living intelligently, fulfilling expectations. He told me the curriculum, STEM, and now we've added the arts. So it's STEAM. Told me the colors. He told me the mascot is Kings. And certainly he's the King of Kings. He told me that it'd be, for males, and that at this particular school, we're going to raise up these boys to live, act, walk, and talk like kings. So culture is going to be a major foundation for the school. So we started that. We started a program that summer back 5 years ago now with Architecture of Life there in the church. Then a couple of summers after that, we went over to the Carnegie Science Center and we did something with boys from around the city. And now in August of 2021, we are opening our school, the Life Male Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Math Academy. We are opening that with 6th and 7th grade. So if you have a 6th grader, upcoming 6th grader, or 7th grader, this is the school that you want your son in.
Now, you mentioned it started off in the church. So how long was this program a part of the church up until now of this a very important announcement that you now have a school that will feature this program?
Well, we started back. We actually told the church about it in 2014. So we've been doing various things there since 2014. So almost 7 years that it'll be 7 years in September when we actually laid it out to the church. So we've been doing various programs. We've been doing things around the city, trying to get people knowledgeable about the school. So for 7 years, to answer your question.
Okay. And so the reason why I asked how long was it in the church is because I just want to know, do you have any advice for anyone listening that may have a dream or they're working on something themselves and they feel like it's not coming true fast enough. So you put in 7 years of starting your church. You collaborated with other organizations to continue the program. So what do you say to people that's like, you know what, I have a program too, and I've been doing it longer than 7 years. I've been doing it for 10 years. What should they do?
Well, I want to say the vision. When you feel that you have a vision, and especially the ones that come from God, you're going to have to walk with God through the process. And that's what we've done. I mean, there's been some discouraging times. There's been some highs, some lows, but I kept tunnel vision on getting to the end point of what I believe God has said to me to do. So you got to have some stick-to-itiveness.
I would say 2 words: don't quit. Just don't quit. At times it looked like, okay, God, what are you doing? Why would this be happening now? And and things that were happening that looked or appeared to us to be a setback. Just on a personal note, really quick, this time last year in March, when everything was being shut down, it became increasingly hard for us to do any type of um, um, collaborations, or for us to conduct any type of business with regard to the school, because everybody was scared to death to do anything. So everything was shutting down. And so, okay, then at the same time, I got a diagnosis of cancer. And so with all of that, it was like, okay, God, what are you doing? What are you doing in the midst of all of this? But then fast forward to now, um, just in recent weeks, God, it seems to be doing a quick work. And so it's all in his timing. And sometimes you can be discouraged by circumstances and what things appear to be, but trusting, I would say, don't quit and trust God's timing.
Very good advice. Thank you both so much. Regarding the school, how can people get more information? How can people sign up? And really, let's start with, is there a criteria? Do you have to be a member of Rodman? What's the criteria? How do you sign up?
There is no criteria by way of being a member of Rodman. We are going after every male in the city that if you have a desire to come into an environment where you will be challenged to be excellent on every front, then you're welcome at Life Mill STEAM Academy.
It is a charter school, so it's free.
Okay.
And we're going to be housed out in Wilkins Township in Penn Center East off of Highway 22. And we're going to be in one of the buildings there, Building 7, in the rear of that particular property. And we are starting with 6th and 7th grade. So if you have a young male that's going to 6th grade or 7th grade, they are welcome. Our sponsor is the Woodland Hills School District. However, this is open to boys throughout the entire county, Allegheny County, and all the other school districts that surround us. It's a charter school, so the tuition is free. I want you to hear me now. It is free. So, and then the school systems are required. They're within 10 miles. They're lined with 10 miles. They have to provide transportation for your student to get there. We have a city bus line that's on that property as well. So I want to highlight again, it is free. But every day, every young man, every staff person is going to be dressed as I am today, blazer, shirt, and tie. This is a school of excellence. Every boy at the school, the mascot is kings. We're going to treat them like kings. We're going to treat them and teach them how to live like kings. Also, every boy at the school is going to be Mr. I don't care what they are called in the community, they're going to be Mr. And because we are drawing boys from across the entire area, we're going to get rid of the turf wars and the community wars, and we are trying to bring a brotherhood together. So we want you to know that if you have a young man and you want him to be challenged, You want him to grow up and mature and develop and be in a loving, caring environment. And we are going to train each of these young men to go to college. That's going to be one of our major things. In fact, our mission statement, our mission is to prepare all male scholars for college success and career readiness. We will also serve as a catalyst to increase the presence of African-American males in the STEM pipeline. That is our mission, and that's what we're going to do. But we also understand that we have to help those young men in their character development. That is going to be so important. So we're going to surround them with positive male role models, positive African-American males and others who will be coming in to work with them to help these young men to see what they can become. Because one of the challenges is that so many of them don't see the positivity that they can become. And that's what we are going to do with this school.
And there'll be 7 wells that will drive that character development. A life scholar will be expected to be well-read, well-traveled, well-spoken, well-dressed, well-balanced, well-connected, and well-led. And so this is going to be the expectation.
And how do people sign up?
So we have a website. It's lifesteam.org. Lifesteam.org. And you go on there and it'll be an application on the website. You click there and you can begin to do it. It will be up and running on Monday the 5th. So you can go in, get your students registered. We also getting ready to announce our head of school and some of the other people that will be leading the school. And that's going to be extremely important as we move forward.
Wow. So I didn't know it was opening that fast, the registration. So this is actually breaking news. I didn't realize this.
It is breaking news because we are opening. Our first day of school is August 23rd, 2021.
August 24th, I'll make a correction. August 24th.
2021. And so we are really excited about that. But yeah, this is breaking news. First time we've made it public like that as well.
Wow, I'm excited. Wow, I'm going to really have to promote this. Breaking news is going to be my headline. This is awesome. So I also want to mention, because you said that it's in Penn Center Plaza, which is in Wilkins Township. And so for anyone that may not know kind of where that is, I want to let you all know, it is behind Rite Aid. So there's like Rite Aid, there's a huge parking lot, and there's a building that's like right there in this huge parking lot. So that's the building, correct? Is that the right building?
Building 7. So it's right over the side of that one.
Okay.
But it's right behind Applebee's,
Right.
The one that's farthest in the back. Yes.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure, because that can kind of be confusing. But if you know, like Applebee's, Rite Aid, all that, go there and you'll find the school.
Absolutely. And the buildings are numbered. So this is building 7. So you will see that the address is 777, in fact. So that's a number of perfection. So 777 Penn Center Boulevard is where it would be there. And if you're not familiar with the word Wilkins, it's right outside of Monroeville.
Exactly.
Not far from Penn Hills.
Nope.
Not far from Turtle Creek. So we are right there in the eastern suburb, not far from Churchill, of course.
Yep, it's right before you get to Monroe. So on your way to Monroeville Mall, you'll pass it.
Absolutely.
So just make a quick stop. And I want to say too, I'm very excited that you are in that plaza, because I know that was one of your dreams, to be in that location. I know you had a specific building in mind, but God let you have another building and the same location.
It's nothing but God. Because I've been talking about this now, that property, for 7 years. And so for us to be able to get on the property is just a testament to what God has done.
A property that was already built.
Yes.
Because the property you wanted, like, you would have had to re-gut it and do all this stuff. Like, this building's done.
This building is done. In fact, 2 of the floors was built for a school. So it's already laid out for classrooms. It's already laid out. So absolutely. It's nothing but God. I have a statement that I make, NBG, nothing
Right.
but God.
And, and it speaks to, we talked about earlier, holding on to your dream, not giving up. I think also this shows the importance of being flexible, because you could have said, no, God, I wanted this building. It's this building or nothing. But
Absolutely.
right. So it speaks to that too, of being flexible in your ask for God and the direction he wants you to go into.
So I believe that God spoke this to me. And as a result, then the vision for me is bigger than even what the work that I do at Rodman or anywhere else. God has me here with a vision. And so God will allow you to go through some things along the way, but we have to know what the calling and the vision is. And that's what I believe that we've been able to do, to hang in there, even when it looked dark, as you said, the building I was initially looking at. But this is much better for us. And it's right there. So God is beginning to continue to reveal himself. I just believe that if God has given the vision, that he's going to give the provision. When you talk about timing, so last year we were scheduled to open and COVID hit. And there was no way that we felt that we can open a brand new school with so much uncertainty around it. Can you imagine if we would have signed a lease 2 years ago? The people who own the property would not have cared whether or not the school was open or not. We would have had to pay that rent. My wife often reminds me of that. So when we were getting frustrated or disappointed or what have you, God knew the timing. And that's what I want to say, as she said, we just do not quit. When you have your focus on what God said, and I say this to God every day, God, I don't know what I'm doing. All I have is your word. And by revelation, God said, that's all you need.
Right. And so just to reiterate, the school opens in fall 2021. Registration is open Monday, April 5th. So
Correct.
people can sign up. Right now, you're accepting male scholars in the 6th and 7th grade. That's correct.
Correct.
And then people can apply by visiting lifesteam.org. Okay, lifesteam.org. Is there a number or email for anyone to call if they have questions, or is that on the website?
It's all on the website. Yep, it is. It is, but we can tell you that. So we have our email address is admin@lifesteam.org.
Mm-hmm.
Admin@lifesteam.org. And our telephone numbers are
412-709-3480.
or 412-867-6209. But all of this information is also on the website at lifesteam.org.
Awesome. Before we close out, we have a couple minutes. Reverend Talita, I wanted to ask you. So Reverend Darryl mentioned God spoke to him. This was his vision. Did you instantly jump on the vision? Did you need to kind of be like, come on, babe, like, join the vision? Because I know for me, for the Shine Awards, like we've been doing it for 12 years, and it was Darnell's vision. I didn't catch on to it until like a year, 2 years later.
Yeah.
And really, it was just me, because it came about because I was always doing events, but they were for adults, award shows and VIP receptions. And he was like, why don't you do the same thing for kids? But I didn't catch the vision. So did you catch it as soon as he said, God told me to do this, or did you need a little pulling?
I have a bit of transparency. When he initially started talking about the property, and I was like, okay, this is good. That's a lot of property. That's a big area. I know. And I was trying to be encouraging, but then one evening I was on the couch, he came down and he told me about a school for boys. And when he said a school for boys on that property, the only way I can describe it is that it felt like a baby leaped in my belly. And I told him that. And I said, now the property has purpose. That was what I said to him. Now the property has purpose. And so, to answer your question, when he was talking about the property, I was like, oh. But when he mentioned the school, immediately I was there.
Awesome. Yeah, we joke about it now, but at the time I was like, I don't know, but it was more me, like the events that I was doing, they were for other people. My name wasn't on the event. So for him to say, we need to do our own event, I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like that was too much of me being out there. And I'm truly an introvert. So now you want me to do something on my own and my name's on it. So that took me a year or two. But yeah, I was just curious where that was. So thank you for the transparency. So again, parents, guardians, if you have a young male going to 6th grade, 7th grade, register now, lifesteam.org, lifesteam.org. Also, if you have questions, you can call 412-709-3480 or 412-867-6209. I'm going to make sure this information is on the Shine Network Facebook page. Remember, we spell Shine with the Y. All of that will be on there. Their email is admin@lifesteam.org if you want to just shoot a quick email. But all of the information is on the website. Again, it's lifesteam.org. You don't want to wait. The application, it goes live Monday, April 5th. The session starts the school opens August 24th, 2021. So this is something that you don't want to sleep on. Is there a certain amount of students that you can accept immediately?
Yes, we're going to have 168. So 84 boys in 6th grade and 84 boys in 7th grade. And then what we're going to do in year 2, we'll add 8th grade, year 3, 9th grade, 4, and in year 6 will be our first graduating class. But that year we're going to add K1. And then we'll add a grade. So over a 10-year period, it'll be the only K-12 academy centered around STEM for boys, and especially boys of color, I believe, in the nation.
I love it. Reverend Darryl and Reverend Talita Canady, Rodman Street Missionary Baptist Church, and the founders of the Life Male STEAM Academy. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your support. I'm Orlana Darkins Drury, the host of the Shine Network radio show. Keep shining.